Today I'll discuss why high interest debt is like a grease fire compared to low interest debt's little candle. So you can better understand how money works, you don't waste your money paying off the wrong debts, and you'll have way more money in the long run. My name is Kate Moody. You can call me Ms. Moody. I am your money librarian, here to help you outsmart your money so you can have more money, more fun, and less stress. As always, personal finance is personal. Your mileage may vary. What's best for you, especially when it comes to debt, comes down to like how many debts you have, what your balances are, what your interest rates are, how much money you take in, how many people you're taking care of, what your cost of living is, blah, 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 blah. So this is a general overview of how I approach this topic. If something else works for you, you do you, boo. When people ask me about paying off debts, the first thing I always ask is, what's your interest rate on those debts? Because what I'm really asking with that question is, what are these debts costing you? The higher the interest, the more expensive the money. High interest is filling up a 70s Buick. High interest is an open bar at a Wisconsin wedding, she says, wearing her Leinenkugel's t-shirt. Which, Leinenkugel, by the way, I have drank so much of your product over the years. So much of your product over the years. I'd be happy to have one here. Blink. You see, high interest means a bigger proportion of the money you borrowed is being added to your balance every single month. If you took out $1,000 at 5% interest, that's $4 a month is getting added onto that original $1,000. If, however, you took it out at 20% interest, that's an extra $18 every single month. I don't even have enough fingers to show you how much that is every single month. It's not fun and it can easily get out of control. Like a Wisconsin wedding with an open bar. Ha. So think of interest rates like gas mileage. Low interest are your 50 mile per gallon hybrids. It takes very little gas to get you a far distance. Or in financial terms, you're paying back the amount you borrowed plus a little bit more. High interest rates? Super inefficient. Those are a 70s Buick, which is a great ride. It is so nice. It's like sitting on your couch while you're driving, but it's also a gas guzzler. In financial terms, you're paying back the amount borrowed, plus like a lot more. Often we feel the burden of our debts based on the balance of our debts, which isn't unreasonable, but it's only half the story. Let's say you take out $40,000 in debt. 10 grand is high interest credit card debt, and the other 30 is low interest student loans. Both are going to get paid off in 5 years. Despite the student loan being 3 times as much money, because of interest rates, they both cost you $5,200 in interest. It's just that the student loan is a hybrid. It's efficient. And the high interest is your 70s Buick. Inefficient. Pass anything on the road but a gas station. So when you have an extra like $100 to put towards your debts, oftentimes people are tempted to put it towards the high balance because that's the one that feels so burdensome. Because it's big. It is big. And I get that. That makes sense. I can see why people would do that. But if they ran the numbers, they would know that it's already very efficient. If you were to put that extra $100 towards the student loan, you would save a grand total of $900 versus putting it towards the super inefficient high interest debt where you would save $2,200. That's like upgrading from a 70s Buick to like a 90s car. I don't really know cars very well. Okay, I can hear you. What qualifies as high interest? What qualifies as low interest? Do I have coloring book? I don't think I've got a coloring book. Oh, I'm gonna go get that. Okay, I couldn't find my coloring book or my book with the color wheel and stuff, so I'm just gonna have to do a digital overlay. Ding. Interest rates are like a rainbow. Red isn't that different from red-orange, which isn't that different from orange-red, which isn't that different from orange. 2% isn't that different from 4%, which isn't that different from 6%. There isn't one point where you can say, or I should say, there isn't one point where you can say everything above this is bad and everything below this is good. It's just that higher is worse, lower is better. And just like the color spectrum, although there's very little differentiation between like red to orange, there's a huge difference between red to green, green to purple. There's a huge difference between, 2% and 12% and 22%. Big difference between those. Again, Lower is better, higher is worse. That gone over, to make this easy on you, I use 10% as the demarcation point between the classification of low interest versus high interest. It's kind of like warm versus cool colors. The further in the color wheel you go, the warmer or cooler the color gets. The higher or lower your interest rate is to 10%, the better or worse your interest rate is. And I chose that number because it's the general area where debt starts getting expensive, but more importantly, it's also about the average rate of return of the US stock market. The average depends on a lot of variables, so you'll see people saying anything from like 7 to 12%. We'll just use 10. It is a useful generalization. Single digit, low. Double digit, high. I also bring up the stock market because we're taking a long-term view of your money. What will get you into the most financially stable and successful position over decades? If you can make more money long-term with a well-diversified portfolio, with putting money in the stock market, than you could by paying off debt, then that's where your money should be. I mean, lots of caveats here, but generalization. Because the thing is, every debt has a maximum cost. So take the $30,000 student loan example. If you magically got 30 grand and you decided to pay off that loan, you would save at most $5,200. Not bad. Unless you consider putting that into the stock market, assuming a 10% market average. Over 10 years, that $30,000 grows into $80,000. It's pretty big. Okay, yeah, but over 20 years, that $80,000 turns into $200,000? And after 30 years, that $200,000 turns into $500,000, doesn't even fit in the frame, dollars. Between the efficiency of low interest debt and the tremendous growth your money could get in the stock market over the long run, low interest debt falls to the bottom of my money to-do list. The lower the interest, the less I care about it. If you have a car that gets 45 miles to the gallon, why would you spend tens of thousands of dollars to get a car that gets 47 miles to the gallon? It's already great mileage. Use that money somewhere else. And hey, again, this is just me. There are a lot of people for whom debt is just such a burden. It consumes them. They can't think about anything else. They can't sleep at night. You have to take your emotional health into consideration. What will help with this is learning the true cost of your debts. Because the scariest monster, as I always say, is the one you don't see. Your debts may actually be way cheaper or way more expensive than you think they are. Either way, you'll feel better knowing that information. There are a ton of online calculators that can help you out with this. You can also go to my website. I built one that is not only just so functional, but it's pretty too. I made it pretty. And you don't have to give me your email address or anything. I made it so that you can just click. I hope that helps you clarify your financial to-do list and understand interest rates a little bit better. Let me know what effect learning this stuff is going to have on what you do with your money in the comments. I want to hear this. Let me know if you liked this video. So give me a little thumbs up because I genuinely would like to know if this is helping people. It actually takes a lot of work to do these videos. Be sure to subscribe if you want more librarian approved financial tips. Cheers, guys.